what is perennially coming up when you talk about South African football, and I know you will know this very well, is the dominance of Sundowns, the financial investment. They can have a good season, they can have a bad season, they can have an indifferent season. The money is still there. I have to ask you, is there any team in South Africa that can stop this dominance and beat them in the Premier Soccer League?
I think there are. I think there's a few teams that will do that this year. I think Gavin is on a good wicket. He's a different coach. He demands different things from his players.
So you think SuperSport can have a crack at this title, right?
I think SuperSport can have a crack at the title. I think Cape Town City can have a crack at upsetting the apple cart. I think Pirates and Chiefs both have it in them to do something to stop the dominance. But the other clubs need to come to the party. They need to come to the party as far as preparing the players properly, preparing, staying out of social media for unnecessary things. Get away from that and concentrate more on between the lines.
What do you mean by that, Coach? Because I've read articles in the past from you saying you're not the biggest advocate of social media. Do you not think in the world that we're living in, it's a reality and can be used as a tool that helps maybe be a megaphone for your club and your coaching or your playing ability?
Zayn, it's about what you want to put out. And I believe, yes, it is the time in the world for that type of media things. But I don't see you as a journalist wearing a Louis Vuitton cap. You know what I'm saying? I don't see, and you've got a C on your cap as well, which makes me even more prouder to do this interview.
I wish it was for Cape Town. My wife is from Chicago. This is called rebranding.
How you a Cubs supporter? I don't know how you a Cubs supporter. They haven't won a pennant in years.
Sorry, and I should say, I know the team so well. I got it wrong. It's a Chicago Bears hat.
Oh, I thought it's a C.
Yeah, this is the C.
I thought it's a C for Kevin. That's why you're supporting.
And Courtney.
Wow. Yes.
No,
big supporter.
But go on, Coach. You're making some good points about social media.
But seriously, for me, that is what we need to do. That is how they need to bring it. And our social media at the moment is all about brands. What is this player driving? What is this player wearing? He's got a 50,000 rand cap on. He's got 90,000 rand sneakers on. That doesn't play football.
No, I take your point. I take your point.
We need to take it to a different level. I mean, I don't see people showing what Lionel Messi wears to work, what car he drives. Cristiano Ronaldo, in all respect to him, I don't see them showing you what sunglasses he's wearing, what this he's wearing. That is done in his own spare time. But they'll show you what he's training, what he's doing. And therefore, we need to revisit that as South Africans to understand what is football. I mean, I was thinking about this, and Sadio Mane, he said something. I don't need a new cell phone, but I'm going to build a hospital for my country. We know about that. We don't know that he drives S-Class specifically made for him. No, we don't know about it. We don't need to know about that. But when he works for his country and he works for his community, yes, then they put out something.
No, I agree, and it's about getting the right messages you want on those platforms. Not about the bling. It's authenticity. I think you can be proud and confident, but also humble all at the same time, as you say with Mane and the super brands like Ronaldo and Messi. But just to bring us back to the question, you got me excited when you said there's so many teams that can really make the Premier Soccer League competitive is what we want, right? Because that's going to push Sundowns to be better on the continent. That's going to push others. But bringing it back to Gavin Hunt, he's won the Premier Soccer League 4 times, 3 times at SuperSport, once at Wits. What is it about him and his team that you think could be a good disruptive force in the Premier Soccer League this season?
Gavin plays a brand of football, and he's a certain type of manager that when you play for him completely. Don't show other things, and do things correctly the way he wants it to be done. And when he gets that connection with his players in the right way, then he's always successful. For example, at Wits, it took him a while because he had a crop of players that he needed to wipe out, and then he had to bring in a crop of players and a mixed crop of players that wanted to fight for him. And then after that, you know what I'm saying? He gets the success, and when he's got that team in his hands, they will do for him what the teams did it for him at SuperSport. Right now, SuperSport were in a little bit of a hole. He's taken them out of that little bit of a hole, and he's got this crop of players in his hands now that has started off very well. He wasn't able to start off very well when he was at Wits. He ended very, very, very well. Now he's starting very well at SuperSport, but it looks like the players that are behind him are the ones he wants, and they have to bring the other ones along. Like he's got Bradley Grobler there. He's got not Ronald Williams. He's got one of his goalkeepers there. I think it's Ricardo Goss or one of the others, and he's got Tyson Satwayo there, and he's got a few players that were with him at Wits that he's brought along now, and they know his mentality, and that's always important when you go in for a club like SuperSport. You say yes, let's go. It's unlike when he was at Chipa. There was a lot of I can't build here. There's no field. There's no water. The people are not coming to training. They come in late and all. Gavin is in a situation now where everything is in one place, like it was.
He's got the right environment to succeed. And I guess this leads me to my next question is, and again, sorry, this wasn't to make it about Gavin, but now I'm interested. He was successful at SuperSport in the right environment. They created that at Wits at the end. Do you think Kaizer Chiefs will regret not giving him an extended run to get it right at the Soweto Giants?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think if Gavin always gets the right opportunity and the right people behind him, he always do something good. No, because I think he plays a certain brand of football, and Kaizer Chiefs want to play a certain brand of football. And fortunately or unfortunately, it doesn't always go together. But to build a winning team, you have to start somewhere. Like you see, Morocco went into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. How did they start? They started defensively, but all their attacking moves ended up in goals. And they built on that slowly until they got to the quarterfinals. And by the time you got to the quarterfinals, then you started seeing the individuals that are good, that can make this team play again like they played a few, like they can be in the future. But that is where the problem lies, is that there's a Kaizer Chiefs who play a certain team, and there's a Kaizer Chiefs that need to build in order to be like they were before. Because to get to where they were before, it's going to take a lot at Kaizer Chiefs.
So, Coach, let's look. You spoke a bit earlier about some fantastic, talented players. The Bradley Groblers, the Katwayos, even Ronald Williams. I know you did mention. Can you think of someone who was really exceptional, who you managed, that has gone on to do some fantastic things? in the game of football?
There's Courtney, there's so many. I mean, there's so many players that I've managed that were real good players. I mean, when you look at Steven, you look at Sheppy, you look at Brett Evans, there were so many that are you there?
Yeah, no,
There
I'm
were
here.
so
Coach.
many.
Yeah, I'm listening
There
to you.
We're here. The connection took a bit of a hit, but your
Yes,
audio was
yeah,
perfect.
Coach. You keep going.
There were so many players. You got to talk about Sean Potgieter. You talk about Dominic Isaacs. You talk about Kabomelo Khorisang. You talk about Giftlings. You talk about Tusopala. There were so many players that I've managed. You talk about Henrico Botes, that was a foreigner from Namibia. You talk about Emiliano Tadi, that was very good for me. Who else? You talk about Manip Josephs, who I know since he's 13 years old. You talk about the many players.
Coach, I'd like to come to Steven Pienaar, who has gone on to be an unbelievable football player in Africa, in Holland, in the Premier League. And I actually watched a tribute of Steven to yourself, which was very emotional. I don't think a lot of people know of this journey he's gone through to get to where he is. You know, firstly, I just thought it was a lovely tribute between yourself and him. What about that connection between you and him that enabled him to push on to become such a good player?
Courtney, myself and Steven, we're from the same area, Westbury. And there were many other players other than Steven that was better than him probably. But when the chance came for the trial and at the school, we looked at them. There was about 5 or 6 of them. And Steven showed something that we look for all the time in players. You know, you look at when we do trials, we don't only look at the player's natural ability. We watch you, and you might not know, and this is why trials are so important. We watch you when you're off the pitch. We watch you when you go to the toilet. What are you doing? If the toilet's 5 meters away, African diversity, we tend to stand on the side of the toilet, if you understand. Because the toilet is full, you can't wait, you stand somewhere on the side. And we knew those things. When you're in a group, you will always see the bigger mouths talking. You'll see the clever ones doing certain things. And this is all because of our learnings and things like that. And Steven was picked because of that. But in saying that also, like I say, Steven is from a single parent, and I happen to take him home every holiday because he lived opposite the road from where my mother lived. So it was easy for me to take him home. And in the car, we'd have our conversations about football, about where he is, about what he wants to do, and more important, about schooling. And he carried on this up until under 17 level, under 20, under 23, and to Bafana, became the Bafana captain. And the one thing a lot of people don't know, the tribute comes from Steven, because I kept a very strong hold on Steven. I made sure that he doesn't do what everybody else does. Like, for example, people don't believe it, but Steven earned 500 Rand up until the age of 21. Steven did not buy a car up until the age of, I think, 21. When I said, Steven, it's yours now, you can do what you want with it. But we made sure, and we agreed upon this when he was still a kid, that his first sign-on fee, we would buy his mother a house. And whether that sign-on fee came when he was 25 or 30, it didn't matter. But the first sign-on fee would be for his mother to buy a house. And God willing, he gave me that opportunity, and we bought his mother house, but I was part of that. I sort of part of the whole thing. Who you signing for? Who's the agent you want to work for? You are 30, you are 15 years old. There was at 16, I think Steven had about 7 agents looking to sign him. And at 16, I told him, you don't sign for anybody. You don't need an agent. Your agent is your 2 feet. And he listened to me until 21. Then I said, now, like we are born in Africa, South Africa, 21, your mother gives you the key. We sat each other down and we said, okay, Steven, now, I'm not the agent. I'm giving you your freedom. Do it. What you want to sign, my suggestion is sign with this guy. You'll take your career somewhere else because he can negotiate. Go to this club, like he signed for Ajax Amsterdam. Go to that club. It's a good club, very, very good club. You'll go from there. And from there, he went to Borussia Dortmund. He went to Spurs. He went to Everton. And he played at the highest level. But that's all from what we were taught, from what we spoke about, and not from what Cavin Johnson taught him. That's why in the tribute, you find out that he appreciates what I done for him. Because I told him, I'm not giving you this for money. I'm giving you this for my feeling. I'm giving you this to look outside and see where you come from and ask yourself, where do you want to be? Because you can be anywhere in the world with what you have at your feet. And he listened. So for me, that is what really, really helped me or helped him. And when the tribute came, it was a good surprise for me because it's like my own children. I give my own children the necessary guidance. But if they take it, they take it. If they don't take it, what can I do? I can't do anything. But God willing, God with me, my children are just as successful as Steven Pienaar. They might not be football players, but they all have degrees. My one kid is very, very, very successful as far as sport is concerned.
Tell us about it, coach. Tell us.
Am I right in saying your daughter plays hockey for South Africa?
Yes, sir. She plays. She plays for the outdoor team, and she's one of the twins. Zayn, you've done your homework.
A little bit.
She plays hockey indoor and outdoor for the South African team, and she just come back from from the Commonwealth Games, and before then she went to the Olympics. So we're proud of her there as well.
Oh, coach!
Congratulations, well done, coach.
That's
well
amazing. I was going to go random question. Why didn't she play girls football, coach? Why was it hockey?
She did play football. They all played football, except for the youngest one. But the twins did play football for 1 year. They played for Tableview United in Cape Town.
Oh, very cool.
But then before we just moved, my nephew gave my little daughter a hockey stick, and she started playing hockey, and the rest is history. But she's had a very, 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 very tough time getting to where she was. Sure. But what an athlete. She is an athlete.
You got to pay to play hockey. You know that, coach. It's amateur, it's expensive, and it's dangerous because you can lose teeth.
Bloody expensive. To play hockey is very, very expensive. But she's been God willing, she's been able to play she's been able to play overseas. She played in Holland, she played in Belgium for 1 or 2 years. So she has all that experience, but I think she's going for her last Olympics and then she's done.
Coach, having this conversation with you, the nurturing part is coming out so much, and that's fantastic. You speak about Steven, you speak about some of the other guys, the Brett Evans that you've coached, you speak about your daughter with the hockey. Now, Steven is basically in Holland starting to get his managerial career together. You can see he wants to be a manager. He's working at Ajax. Does he have discussions with you around management, especially you being so successful as a manager and have so much experience?
I don't think he's coming to that space yet because he just started, Courtney. and our conversations have always been here and there, not very often. But I think he's still finding his feet, and because he's been coached by so many other guys at the highest level, he's got to understand what those guys try to teach him, and then he will come back and decide, you know what I'm doing here at under 19 or under 18 level is not necessarily what I need to do that I got from your what was his name, the guy at Everton,
David Moyes,
or the guy in Borussia Dortmund. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that information I need. What I do need is to go back and understand what it is to coach a child, and where was I when I was a child. And all credit to the guys at Amsterdam now. There's one guy that's called Edmund Klaus. He's very, very clever. I worked with him for a while. So he's got to steal from those managers. And then come back to South Africa and speak to Cavin Johnson, who has all this diversity in his head, and find out if it matches what he's thinking. Because the mentality is what makes the difference. Because he's actually coaching Dutch players now, and their mentality is completely different to what we have. Yes, when I went to coach in Holland and I introduced them to what we as South Africans were doing, they thought that was fun. They said, wow, this is better than what we do normally. I said, well, just shows you why we could be one of the powerhouses in the world, but we're not using it.
Cavin, this has been a fascinating conversation.
Wonderful, Cavin.
Honestly,
Wonderful,
you've given us such wisdom.
Wonderful.
You've given us such insight.
You've been fantastic for us today. Once again, your time you've given to us, your knowledge, we're just grateful to have you talk to us. You've been so open for us and accessible. Thank you very much.
Cavin, what a pleasure it is to have you on the podcast. And for those out there who've taken a listen, please leave a rating and a review. It helps people find the show. It's been a pleasure, Cavin. We wish you well.